caught my girlfriend with another guy at the club. Her parents backed me up, and he lost everything, even though he tried to deny it and blame me. I, 28, caught my 25-year-old girlfriend just a few hours ago cheating on me with some random guy at a club. For some background, one of her friends sent me a few snaps. They were at a club they'd been going to regularly for over a year. This didn't surprise me, since my girlfriend loves going out partying with her friends. It was one of those typical girls' nights she and her friends have been having regularly. However, while I was watching the snaps, I noticed this guy in the background with her, and they looked pretty close. Against my better judgment, I quickly checked my girlfriend's snap score and decided to send her one. I'd never been the type to do that before, but at that point I was practically drowning in my own heart. Her score went up by 42 before she finally replied to my message complaining about how boring the night was getting. So, there she was, texting someone else and blatantly ignoring me. I told her she didn't seem bored at all based on what her friend was sending me on Snap. She said she just had to keep up appearances and make it look like she was having a great time in front of everyone. Then she sent another snap saying she had a headache. I told her I could come pick her up. She read it and didn't respond. I sent another message asking if she wanted me to get her. Meanwhile, the snaps from her friend stopped altogether, and she even stopped posting them on her story. I sent a snap to her friend asking if my girlfriend was okay and if she needed a ride home, but that snap wasn't opened. Lying in bed, my mind was filled with worry and frustration. Why wasn't she replying now? Why did her friend suddenly stop sending snaps? Who the hell was this guy? The image of that guy in the club with her kept replaying in my mind, feeding my anxiety. I just couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, that there was more to this girl's night than she was letting on. Finally, I decided to get out of bed and drive to the club where she was. Yes, maybe I was overreacting, but I needed to know. Normally, I'm not like this, but something just didn't add up. On the drive over, I kept thinking I'd find her when I got there. Would she be okay? Was she really sick? Was I just imagining all of this? Would I come off as the crazy boyfriend? I mean, just a few weeks ago I was seriously considering marrying this woman, and now I'm not so sure about anything. Everything felt so confusing. I had to be certain. I felt like an idiot as I arrived at that stupid club, until I walked in and saw her, locked in with a guy I'd never seen before, exchanging spit in the back of the club while sitting in a booth. Her friend was the first to notice me and ran over to her to say I was there. Then she basically pushed this guy aside and said something to him, and he left, though I don't know where he went. I walked over to them, and she tried to tell me it wasn't what it looked like. I told her it was exactly what it looked like, and asked her who the guy was. She tried to say that there was no guy there, that I was just imagining things. Things got pretty heated between us. Then her friend told security to kick me out, and sure enough, security escorted me out of the club, and I just drove home. Now I'm writing this on my couch, and she's tried calling, but I haven't answered. She's texting me, saying I'm overreacting, that I don't trust her, that I've completely lost control and had no right to show up like that. I'm going to pack up my stuff after this and crash at a friend's place for the night. I just don't know what to think. I saw what I saw, and I know she was with a guy. Before continuing, don't forget to subscribe. New stories every day. Update 1. After 5 years, it was all over. I'd only been in one relationship before her, and that didn't end well. Life had dealt me a bad hand, and she knew it. My high school girlfriend tragically passed away. I wasn't even close to being ready for another relationship after the pain of my first love. And she was way too young. I guess I jumped into something with her without even really knowing who she was. I can still vividly remember the day we met. It was my first time at a music festival. My friends practically dragged me there, and it really wasn't my scene. I love music, but I'm not a fan of crowds, which is why I never went clubbing with her. So, it just turned into girls' nights. I spent most of the festival in the stands, reading a book, and I was perfectly content that way. Then, all of a sudden, she comes over to me. She had purple hair and an amazing body, dressed like a glittery fairy. And like in the movies, there was a gust of wind, and I could catch a whiff of her perfume. She said I looked lonely. Without hesitation, she sat down next to me and suggested we take turns reading my book out loud. And that's how our love story started. But now everything has crashed and burned, and it was all a lie. This devilish woman completely deceived me. I always thought she was out of my league. We were complete opposites. Me, an introvert, and her, the most outgoing person I'd ever met, and honestly, she was so attractive that it seemed like a perfect match. While she dragged me to festivals and events, even though I'd rather just blend into the background with her by my side, she really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I appreciated that at the time. She'd even get excited about my hobbies, coming along on walks and playing video games. But now I realize she was trying to turn me into someone I'm not. And I found out that I don't even recognize who I've become. A couple of years ago, I got this really important opportunity to work as a tea technician at a friend's startup, and it really pushed me to my limits. It was something I'd always wanted to do, but it was a ton of work. I was pulling long hours and a lot of overtime. Because of that, I didn't really feel like going out on weekends or even during the week to clubs and shows. I just wanted to relax at home and rest. But she wasn't really interested in that lifestyle. Still, I didn't want to be the guy who held her back from doing what she loved. So she'd go out, and I'd stay home playing video games. That's when I found out who the guy was. Turns out, he's the manager of that club, the one she goes to regularly with her friends on girls' nights. And I guess that's how they originally met. She went on a pub crawl on St. Patrick's Day, around the time I got that new job. She's been saying he's gay, but a friend of mine says he's known for being a womanizer. I don't believe a word my ex says. She was using the girls' night as an excuse and had actually been meeting him all along. Anyway, a week passed, and recently I went over to her place with two of my friends, to pick up the rest of my stuff and pack up the workbench I'd set up there. Her mom happened to be home and wasn't expecting me to show up to tell her that I was leaving her daughter. She was totally surprised. I told her that her daughter had cheated on me, and it looked like she was about to lose it. I even admitted that I got heated too. Instantly, her mom turned red and asked if it was true. Well, my ex started attacking me, calling me a liar and saying I couldn't lie to her mom. She tried to tell her mom that I had no idea what I was talking about and that there wasn't even a guy there, that I was just insecure and looking for an excuse to break up with her. Her mom then started yelling right in front of me, asking who she thought she was and how she could treat me like that. Her mom knew I was considering marrying her, since I had asked for her and her father's blessing. They literally loved me, and honestly, I never had a great relationship with my own parents. They made me feel like one of the family. Anyway, her mom brought all that up and said that I was supposed to marry her, and that my ex had ruined everything, her life, her future, and that they wouldn't help her with her master's degree anymore. She wanted to get her master's in psychology, and they said they wouldn't pay her tuition at her current school. That she'd have to handle all the bills on her own now. Her mom told her she was on her own. Well, all hell broke loose after that. They were yelling at each other while I was packing up the rest of my things. I just had to get out. I couldn't handle it. My friends were amazing. They helped me pack up my stuff quickly and got me out of there. I'm moving in with a friend for a while until I find my own place. We also shared a joint bank account, so I pulled all the money from it and put it into my savings, everything. I also canceled her car insurance because I was the one paying it. There were even tickets for a few concerts she'd convinced me to go to, which I really didn't want to go, so I sold them. We were also on the same phone bill, and I quickly canceled that too. Because of the billing cycle, though, I have to wait until next month for her to be completely removed from it. Update 2. It wasn't long before she noticed I had withdrawn my money from our account. She called me up and completely lost it, saying she wouldn't be able to pay the bills that month. I told her whose fault it was, and then I blocked her number. After that, she tried to reach me on Facebook and Instagram, but I wouldn't let her. I saw her posting photos of herself and that guy, with his tongue in her throat, and she even tried sending me some sexually suggestive memes on Instagram. So, he's supposedly gay, but his tongue is in her throat. How does that even make sense? Anyway, I ended up blocking her on those social networks, too. Then she tried to talk to me on Snapchat about how I owed her money, that I was leaving her homeless, and about how she'd had a little accident that cost her a fortune. And that's when she found out, in the worst way possible, that I had canceled her policy. Her friend, the one who went to the club with her, was also trying to talk to me, saying I was an idiot for treating my ex that way and leaving her to her own luck. So I blocked her friend as well. After that, I deleted all of her friends and family from my social media accounts. I can't lie, it still hurts like hell. Now I'm in my own place, with my own space. I haven't started dating anyone else yet. I still feel empty as hell. Update 3. It's hard to put into words exactly how I'm feeling right now. Angry, jealous, vengeful, ashamed, all mixed into one. I feel depressed, guys, really depressed. It's tough when you picture your future with someone and then everything changes in a matter of minutes. I spent my days stuck in the same routines, with the pain of betrayal weighing heavily on my heart. The silence in my empty apartment was deafening, a constant reminder of the void she left behind. Honestly, I thought it was forever. I tried to distract myself with work and hobbies, but nothing could fill the gap she left in my life. Then one day, a friend invited me to the gym and eventually I started going with him. Soon enough, I began going on my own, after building up some confidence working out solo. Even though I'd never been the gym type, I slowly started to feel like myself again, like I didn't need someone else to complete me. It might sound silly, but whatever. I've been feeling a lot better. Her parents stayed in touch. They told me I was welcome to visit anytime and not to be a stranger. They cut off all contact with her and completely disinherited her. As her mom said, they didn't lend her any money for her master's program, so she didn't end up going because she couldn't afford it. They actually don't think she even has a job right now, since it was a 12-month contract, and they believe she's staying with the friend she went to the club with because she can't afford her own place. Her parents said she tried to stay with them, but they refused, saying it was enough already with her taking advantage. They really care about me, like a son, and even said they wished I was theirs. It's a shame because I love them and still do, but sometimes I feel they're just part of a past I've moved on from. Before all contact was cut off, she even tried to tell them that he was gay, even though she was posting lovey-dovey stuff about him on social media. And that was just some innocent game that wasn't going anywhere, because apparently he wasn't into girls. She still denies to this day that anything happened between them, and if something did happen, it must have been because they were both drunk, and she claims she never intended for things to go further. She said she doesn't even remember anything about that night, and they said, well, that's fine, but what about the entire previous year? She's so deep down the rabbit hole now she doesn't even know where she stands. A mutual friend told us that, apparently, she isn't even with that guy anymore, although he got dropped like a hot potato. I guess he was actually fired from that club for harassing women during pub crawls and bothering the female staff there. My friend still has her on Facebook, and she's been posting tearful videos and stories, saying she's lost everything, that her family disinherited her, and blaming me for telling lies about her, calling it a massive misunderstanding and painting me as the ruthless villain, blah blah blah. Honestly, it makes me think about our entire relationship and all the times she truly cheated on me. She used to go to weekend festivals with friends where I never got one-on-one time with her, because I wanted her to have fun and really dive into the experience. Now I wonder if she was really immersed at all. I don't know if I can trust anything she ever told me. I've booked a few therapy sessions to see if talking to someone who knows nothing about us, our relationship, or our history can help. I'm looking forward to that. My own parents actually came to visit me and stayed for a week. It was really nice having them around. It felt good to have people in my home, making it feel warm and welcoming. Edit. Somehow, she contacted me from an unknown number. I thought it was my therapist's office calling back. She tried to apologize and said that she hadn't cheated on me before this guy, that it only happened a few times, and that he was forcing her into it after the first time. She said she only did it because I wasn't giving her enough attention, that I was playing too many video games, and that I never liked going out or doing something with her. She claimed I wasn't making her feel pretty and that she was embarrassed to go out with me and be seen in public. I can't believe I listened to her long enough to hear all that, but I hung up immediately after she started begging for another chance, saying she'd change and do whatever I asked. Anyway, I told her parents that she reached out again, and they actually laughed their heads off and said she'd tried to come over, but they wouldn't even let her in. They told her that if she ever shows up again, they'd call the police. They mentioned that it looked like she had all her stuff in her car, so it's very possible she's living out of it now. That's what she deserves. Update 4. The first thing I want to address is why I felt the need to go with my kids. I'm a best friend to his sister, and I've been traveling with them since high school. Plus, I'm a mom, so I would never purposely put my kids in a situation where I couldn't reach them. After the situation escalated, I got a call from his wife saying she couldn't find my husband and that it would be best if I wasn't in my room. I told her I wasn't there, and then she hung up. Shortly after, I heard a knock at my door. When I opened it, Abigail burst into my room yelling that he was there. I let her search because I was confused about what was happening. When she couldn't find him, she just sat on my floor silently crying. The situation was so awkward that I didn't know what to do. Kicking her out just didn't feel right. So I just asked her what was wrong. She explained that for the past 17 years, he'd been verbally abusive, saying that she and Lizzie ruined his happiness. When she was 18, Jack had promised he would leave me for her, but every time she asked when, he verbally attacked her. Then she purposely got pregnant to trap him, but Jack tried to pay her off to get rid of it. When I found out and filed for divorce, he figured it was better to just be with her. But every day he demeaned her, calling her useless, and apparently, he was cheating on her constantly. She stayed because she dropped out of college and hadn't worked since she was in his office 18 years ago. She apologized for bursting in and then just left. I texted Jack, suggesting he check on his wife because she seemed unpredictable at that moment. I didn't get a response, so I assumed everything was fine and went to sleep that night. But the next morning, I woke up to an extremely long text from Jack, so I'll just summarize what he said. He told me how sorry he was for cheating on me during our marriage and claimed it was the biggest mistake he ever made. He said he wished he'd been more involved with me and the kids and that he hated seeing Liz and Abigail every day. He explained that was why he took on extra hours, to distance himself from them, and that it even affected our kids. He said Abigail had explained everything to him and that he was finally glad the truth was out so he could finally get away from them. He hoped that after all this time, I could forgive him and repair our relationship. I told him we don't need a relationship. I'm remarried now and the kids are grown up, so he should focus on fixing his own mess. He didn't reply. I told my kids that I was leaving early, but to enjoy the rest of their trip. Kyle didn't want to stay, but the others were fine with it, so Kyle and I ended up back home. I texted the kids asking how the trip was going, and they explained that everything was a mess. Jack and Abigail weren't speaking to each other. Main takeaway. You didn't make him look bad, he did that to himself. Remember, your ex is an ex for a reason. He's a terrible person, and you dodged a huge bullet. It's absolutely insane that he thought you'd forgive him after all this. He's absolutely vile, living with his karma after learning that the grass isn't any greener. I feel sorry for his wife, but if he treats her like that, he'll do the same to you. I'm happy you've healed and moved on.